Hello, how are you? So glad to see you in my mind. I have to use my imagination. And I tell you, we used to come on at 12 noon, but we had some technical difficulties. And we got those handled. I want you to like this page and share it, like it and share it, because it's going to be a message that I believe that will resonate with you as it did with me. And it's something that I want you to think about your goals and dreams. Think about the things that you've said that you want to do with your life. And I think that this conversation that I'm going to have with you now will help you to begin to move with a sense of urgency, become more purposeful in how you approach your life and how you use your time, because of the fact that time is the lifeblood of life. And what you do with the time that you have left on the planet. Dealing with the coronavirus has done something for me. It helped me to begin to face the reality, even more so, that I have an expiration date, and not in a morbid sense, because we nobody has figured out how to get out of life alive. But I was in a conversation with Jerry, one of my business partners, and he said something that really grabbed me, and it kept me up last night. And he said, and I want you to write this down: the journey that I have traveled up to this point is longer than the journey that I have left. Listen, I don't know whether or not this is making any sense to you. If that makes any sense to you, what he said, if it does it make you think? I want you to put yes in the comment section. Yes in the comment section. The journey that I have traveled so far is longer than the journey that I have left. And he said that. I'm 75. And so this journey that I've been on, all the things I've done, all the things I've seen, all the things that I experienced, all the things that I have learned, that journey is longer than the journey that I have left. And it was something that I don't know whether or not that hits you like it hit me. How much time do you have left? I don't know. And so therefore, when you look at your life in that context, at least for me, I'm looking at doing several things. And the reason I'm sharing this with you, I want to talk to people who are hungry to make an impact with their lives, who are hungry to make this year and all the years after the greatest time in your journey in this experience of life, the best you've ever had. That's who I want to talk to, because a lot of people don't know we're going to leave here. It's a part of the process. It's one of the seasons of life. And one of the seasons of life is enlightenment. One of the seasons of life is that you go through some stuff. One of the seasons of life is that you reach points in your life that you have some major breakthroughs. This was a breakthrough moment as I looked at and started reviewing what I'm going to get out of this year. There's no conversation that people are having now about Happy New Year. They're through saying those celebratory things now. But when I'm looking at my life as a father, as a grandfather, and as a great grandfather, that what I do, how I approach my life, how I use my time, who I spend time with, who I will even get a telephone call from and speak to, that this is the time, and I want you to write this down and share some points, because my goal is to finish strong. I want to finish strong. I don't want to just casually get to the end of life and, oh well, that was a nice ride. No, no. My goal is to finish strong. There's some things that I want to get done in 21. And I'm looking for some people who feel the same way. But how many of you listening to me right now that you want to finish strong? I want to see yes. Let me see the yeses. See the yeses. I want to see those. I want to finish strong. See, here's what I know about this thing called life. It is so unpredictable. Unpredictable. And unlike any time that I've ever experienced in being on the planet, I've never been in a place where you are mindful of the very air that you breathe. There's two things you need in this thing called life that I know that's required. One is the ability to breathe. That's major. Without breath, you can't be here. Either you or a machine connected to you, that has to help you with the process. And so to me, at 75, the journey that has brought me this far, this journey that I've traveled through God's grace and mercy that allows me to be here now talking to you, that journey is longer than the journey that I have left. And my goal and my commitment with my life and the time that I have left is to teach people how to make this year, to get it done in 21 and the years thereafter, the best you spent on the planet. Because you've gone through some stuff. You've lived through some stuff. You survived some stuff. You've made some stuff happen. You've made some mistakes. Some things have happened to you. And you've had some impact, and you've created some stories. See, I believe that all of us are born with stories of greatness within us. And then as we go through this experience called life, you wake up one day and you say, where did time go? I asked my son 3 times today, what day is this? Tell me again, John Leslie. And the reason I didn't say what day it was, he told me, already forgot. This what happens when you turn 75. You forget things. Oh my God. Will somebody please put in the comment section what day it is? Oh my God. I used to ask my mother, Mama, why do y'all say, I thank the Lord for waking me up in my right mind this morning every Sunday? She said, don't worry, you live long enough, you'll find out. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Let me collect myself. Okay, so I'm thinking about that, and so the question becomes, to me, what are you going to do now on this journey that you have? If you, the journey that you have left, the path and the place where you are now, and as you look ahead and you look back, I said the other day, I said, look back and thank God. Look around and praise God. Go within and seek God, and look ahead and allow God to order your steps. Follow his word. And so this journey that I'm on, and knowing that the distance ahead for me is shorter than the distance I have come thus far. I want you to write this down, please. Write this down. And that is, live with a sense of urgency. Live with a sense of urgency. And people that are living with a sense of urgency, they spend their time doing things, that's them. That's them. This, what I'm doing now, This is me. It's not work. I can give a speech. I've given a speech. I was sick to my stomach. I was hurting in my body, going through all kinds of challenges. But when it was time, I remember I was at this event and my son Calvin was with me. And I'd been suffering from sciatica pain. And so he brought me in back of the stage. And there I was having challenges walking. But he brought me in a wheelchair because I couldn't stand up at that time because of the sciatica pain. And then as we were waiting backstage for the person to introduce me, I noticed Calvin didn't say anything to me. And usually before I go out to speak, we will have a conversation. He'll give me some idea of something that came to him that would be helpful to my presentation. And I'm saying to myself, why is he not saying, Dad, you can do this. You got this. Knowing that here I am sitting in this wheelchair backstage. I've never done this before. And I don't know if I have the strength and the energy to stand up and be on that stage and give a speech. They had a stool out there for me to sit on, but how does he know? What's up with that? Why is he not giving me the motivator some motivation? I'm human. I need some motivation too. And so when they introduced me, he opened the curtain and they had the microphone right in front of that opening where it was. And I walked to it. I only had to take about 3 or 4 steps, and I grabbed the microphone and I gave the presentation, got a standing ovation later. So when he wheeled me back to my room, I said, Calvin, why didn't you say something to me that would encourage me and give me the mindset that I can give this speech today? He said, Daddy, when I saw how close the microphone stand was to the curtains, I knew that was walking distance for you. And I knew once you got to that mic and you put your hand on it, that it was done. I knew the sciatica was not going to stop you. I knew that once your hand touched that microphone, you were going to give that speech. And when I saw that, I said, we're okay now. He'll be just fine. And he was right, because once I grabbed that microphone, I went into another place. I went into a zone, because I was doing that which I came here to do. It touches me now just thinking about it. You came here to do something. And I'm encouraging you, don't rule it out saying, well, I don't know if you can do it. Well, so what? Eye has not seen. What do you think that means? There's some things that you can do that you've never seen before. We're in a place now where we've never been before. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor is in the heart of mankind what God has in store for you. What's in you that you're able to do? That's why they have a term called breakthrough, that your life is a breakthrough moment. And so when I think about that and think about what I was going to share with you today, that this is a time. I have a friend named Dr. Stan. They call him Dr. Breakthroughs, Stan Harris. And he talks about living your life in a way in terms of having breakthroughs. And I think we should have those in various areas of our lives, that we must live with a sense of urgency, one, and two, and that's making every moment count. And the other thing is have breakthrough thinking. Look at ways in which in various areas of your life that you have breakthroughs, that you take your performance to the next level, that those things that you've been talking about and you've been operating at this level, but now you're at a place now, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to take it to another level. When I was a kid, the high jump in the Olympics was 6 feet. and a guy named John Thomas, the brother, who he was a high jumper and had the record in the world. And so during that time when you jumped, as kids, when we played in the backyard, we would have somebody hold a stick and you run and you would just jump over it. And then, but he developed a strategy. Most people just jumping forward to jump over it. But he developed a strategy that you could sizzle, and what they call the sizzle, that you raise your leg and that front leg, and then the other leg come behind it, right? Then there's something that came along called the Fosbury flop. Same event, but there's a guy who was named after him. And when he jumped, he was able to raise his body high enough in the air, and he would go over the pole head first and bring the body behind him. Same event, but different strategy. And as a result of that different strategy, he was able to maximize his impact. He was able to jump 7 feet that you couldn't do it physically, just using the method that had been used, or that approach up to that particular point. Now, tell me what you mean, Les. I'm trying to stay with you. Well, here's what I mean. That there's some things that you are doing and that you perhaps have not succeeded using the approach that you now have. And that many people, when they're going after their goals and dreams, they have failure after failure after failure because they are doing something in the same way. That's why Einstein said that thinking that has brought me this far has created some problems that this thinking can't solve. And that's when I came to the concept, and I want you to get my book called You Gotta Be Hungry. And so what happened is that as you look at your life, a lot of people, when they fail over and over and over again, using the approach that they now are using, they stop. I'm suggesting change your approach, but don't change your decision.
Good morning, champions. I want you to imagine something for a second. Imagine it's December 31st, 2025. The year has come and gone. Did you achieve what you set out to do? Did you grow? Did you conquer? Did you live at the highest level possible? Or are you standing in the same place, wondering why another year slipped through your fingers? Let me tell you something powerful. If you truly want success in your life, you need to put God first. Now, I know in a world that glorifies hustle, achievement, and self-made success, this might sound like a radical idea, but listen to me. When you align your life with God's purpose, you step into a power far beyond your own. You tap into the supernatural. You move with divine wisdom. Doors open that you never could have forced open. Connections appear that you never could have orchestrated. Success isn't just about money in the bank, titles on a resume, or followers on a screen. Real success is living in alignment with a calling on your life. And make no mistake, each and every one of you has a calling. But the question is, are you listening? See, too many people wake up and try to grind their way to success without consulting the one who holds the blueprint for their life. They chase everything except the very thing that will bring them true fulfillment. And what happens? They burn out. They lose their passion. They feel empty, even when they make it. But when you put God first, something shifts. You move with faith, not fear. You operate from purpose, not pressure. You have peace even in the storm because you know who's guiding the ship. So how do you put God first in 2025? Start your day with Him. The first voice you hear in the morning shouldn't be social media, emails, or the news. It should be God. Take time to pray, to reflect, to ask, what do you want me to focus on today? When you start with Him, you gain clarity, direction, and confidence. 2, walk in faith, not just in plans. When you pour into others, when you lead with love, when you make an impact, God blesses you in ways you never expected. The more you give, the more you receive. It's a universal law. 4, stay in the Word. You can't win a battle if you don't have the right weapons. God's Word is your strength, your guidance, your fuel. Read it, meditate on it, let it shape your mindset. Because if you think right, you'll act right. And if you act right, you'll live right. 5 dots, expect great things. Stop playing small. Stop praying small prayers. God didn't create you for mediocrity. He created you for greatness. But he will only take you as far as your faith allows. If you want massive success in 2025, start believing bigger, start expecting God to do something extraordinary in your life. Listen to me. This year can be the year everything changes, but it starts with a choice. Will you put God first? Will you align your goals with his purpose? Will you step into faith and take action like you never have before? Because when you do, success isn't just possible, it's inevitable. Let's make 2025 the year of unstoppable, unshakable, God-powered success. Are you with me? Success is often defined by personal ambition, hard work, and persistence, but true, lasting success is about something much deeper. It's not just about what we desire or the goals we set for ourselves. It's about fulfilling the mission we were created for. When we align our vision with God's purpose, we tap into something far greater than our personal ambition. We step into a divine flow where everything begins to make sense and our path becomes clearer. It doesn't mean we won't face challenges, but it does mean that those challenges will no longer have the power to derail us because we are walking in alignment with something greater. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with success is that they chase the wrong things. They pursue careers, status, relationships, and material possessions without ever asking if those things are in alignment with what God has planned for them. This is why so many people achieve what looks like success from the outside, but still feel unfulfilled. They climb the ladder only to realize it's leaning against the wrong wall. They push themselves harder, thinking that more effort will bring them the satisfaction they seek. But instead, they end up exhausted and wondering why their success doesn't bring them peace. The key to true success is not just working harder, it's working in alignment with divine purpose. When you align your vision with God's purpose, your work becomes meaningful. You stop striving just for the sake of achievement and start operating with a deeper sense of mission. You wake up every morning with clarity because you know that what you're doing is not just about you. It's about serving a greater purpose, making an impact, and fulfilling a calling that was placed inside you before you were even born. Many people think they need to figure everything out on their own. They believe that success comes from careful planning, strategic moves, and relentless execution. While these things matter, they are incomplete without divine direction. God's purpose for your life is bigger than anything you could dream up on your own. Your vision may be limited by what you think is possible, but God's vision for you is limitless. The moment you shift your mindset from what do I want to what does God want for me, everything changes. Your decisions become clearer, your efforts become more impactful, and your progress becomes exponential. Some people resist aligning their vision with God's purpose because they fear it will mean giving up their dreams. They worry that surrendering to God's plan means losing control over their own destiny. But the truth is, when you align with God's purpose, you don't lose, you gain. You gain clarity, wisdom, and supernatural guidance. You gain strength in moments of weakness and courage when fear tries to hold you back. You gain opportunities you never could have created on your own because you're no longer relying solely on your own abilities. This shift in perspective requires trust. Trusting that God's plan is greater than anything you could design on your own. Trusting that even when you don't understand the process, the outcome is worth it. Trusting that the doors that close are just as much a part of your success as the ones that open. Sometimes what feels like a setback is actually a divine redirection. When you are aligned with God's purpose, you begin to see delays, obstacles, and even failures differently. You recognize that every experience is shaping you, preparing you, and positioning you for something greater. Another major barrier to success is comparison. Too many people get distracted by what others are doing. They see someone else achieving success and think they need to follow the same path. But your purpose is unique. You were not created to fit into someone else's journey. When you align your vision with God's purpose, you stop chasing what others have and start walking confidently in your own lane. You stop worrying about whether you are keeping up and start focusing on becoming the best version of who you were designed to be. Distractions will always be present. The world is full of noise, social media, trends, opinions, and pressures. If you're not careful, you can get pulled in so many different directions that you lose sight of your true calling. That's why it's essential to stay connected to God daily. Prayer, meditation, and time in Scripture help you keep your vision aligned. They remind you of what truly matters and keep you focused on the bigger picture. Fear is another major obstacle that prevents people from stepping into their divine purpose. The fear of failure, the fear of judgment, and even the fear of success can hold you back. But when you align your vision with God's purpose, you realize that fear has no power over you. You begin to operate with faith instead of doubt. You stop letting fear dictate your choices because you understand that God is leading the way. The most successful people are not those who never experience fear, but those who choose to move forward despite it. Your gifts, talents, and passions were not placed inside you by accident. They are clues to your purpose. When you align your vision with God's purpose, you begin to use those gifts in ways that create impact. You stop settling for mediocrity because you recognize that you were created for greatness. Success is not just about personal gain. It's about service. It's about how you use what you've been given to make a difference in the world. One of the most powerful shifts that happen when you align with divine purpose is that you stop worrying about results and start focusing on obedience. You trust that as long as you are following the path God has set before you, success will come in the right way and at the right time. You stop forcing things to happen and start allowing things to unfold. This doesn't mean you sit back and do nothing. It means you take action with confidence, knowing that you are moving in the right direction. Too many people live their lives frustrated because they are trying to control everything. They want immediate results. They want things to happen on their timeline. But success is not always about speed. It's about direction. Moving fast in the wrong direction will not get you where you need to go. But when you align your vision with God's purpose, every step you take is meaningful, even if it feels slow. Opportunities will begin to show up when you least expect them. People will come into your life who can help you move forward. Ideas will spark that you never would have thought of on your own. Doors will open that you never could have opened by yourself. This is the power of alignment. When you are in sync with divine purpose, things start to work together in ways that are beyond human understanding. This is why some people seem to experience effortless success while others struggle for years without making progress. The difference is alignment. When you are aligned, you don't waste energy on things that don't matter. You don't chase after distractions. You don't get caught up in meaningless competition. You stay focused, disciplined, and confident because you know that your path is designed specifically for you. The greatest breakthroughs happen when you stop trying to force your own vision and start embracing the vision God has for you. The moment you surrender the need to control everything is the moment you step into a level of success that is greater than anything you could have imagined. Alignment brings clarity, power, and an unstoppable momentum that propels you forward. When you align your vision with God's purpose, you stop striving and start thriving. You stop doubting and start believing. You stop chasing and start attracting. Success is no longer something you have to fight for. It becomes a natural byproduct of living in divine alignment. Fear is one of the biggest obstacles that hold people back from achieving success. It creeps in silently, disguising itself as logic, caution, or practicality. It convinces you to stay where you are because stepping out of your comfort zone feels risky. Fear whispers doubts, makes you question your abilities, and keeps you trapped in hesitation. But here's the truth. Fear is nothing more than an illusion designed to keep you small. If you let it control your decisions, it will rob you of the opportunities, growth, and success that are waiting for you. Fear does not prevent failure. It guarantees it. The only way to break free from its grip is to move before you see the full picture, to act even when the outcome is uncertain, and to trust that when you take a step forward, the path will reveal itself. Most people want certainty before they take action. They want to see the full roadmap, know every twist and turn, and have a guarantee of success before they begin. But life doesn't work that way. The most successful people are not those who wait until every condition is perfect. They are the ones who move forward in faith, even when the next step is unclear. Faith is the antidote to fear. It is the confidence that even if you can't see the whole journey, each step will lead you exactly where you need to be. When you walk in faith instead of fear, you step into a different reality, one where possibilities expand, doors open, and opportunities appear that you never could have planned for. The reason so many people stay stuck is that they rely too much on their own understanding. They analyze, overthink, and wait for the right time, which never comes. There is no perfect moment to start. There is no scenario where you will have all the answers before you begin. Every great success story starts with a leap of faith. Every breakthrough happens when someone decides to move despite uncertainty. When you operate from fear, you shrink your potential. When you operate from faith, you unlock limitless possibilities. Think about the times in your life when you hesitated because of fear. Maybe it was an opportunity you turned down because you didn't feel ready. Maybe it was a relationship you didn't pursue because you were afraid of rejection. Maybe it was a business idea you didn't act on because you weren't sure if it would work. How many blessings have you missed because fear kept you from moving? Fear is a liar. It tells you that failure is the end, when in reality, failure is just part of the process. It tells you that you're not ready, when in truth, no one is ever fully ready. It tells you to wait, but waiting only leads to regret. When you walk in faith instead of fear, you develop a new way of thinking. Instead of asking, what if I fail, you start asking, what if this works? Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, you focus on what could go right. Instead of seeking comfort, you seek growth. This shift in mindset is what separates those who achieve great things from those who stay stuck in the same place year after year. Faith gives you the courage to act even when you don't have all the answers. It gives you the resilience to keep going when obstacles arise. It gives you the strength to trust that every step forward is leading you towards something greater. Fear is not something you eliminate. It's something you overcome. It will always be present, trying to convince you to stay small. The difference between successful people and those who struggle is not the absence of fear, but their ability to move despite it. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision that fear will not control your life. Every time you push through fear, you weaken its hold on you. Every time you take action in faith, you build momentum. Each step forward makes the next step easier. The key to overcoming fear is taking action before you feel ready. Most people wait until they feel confident before they start. But confidence doesn't come first. Action does. The moment you start moving, your confidence grows. The more you step into the unknown, the more comfortable you become with uncertainty. Success is not about having all the answers. It's about having the faith to take the first step. Once you do, the path unfolds in ways you never imagined. Fear makes everything seem bigger than it is. It magnifies problems, exaggerates risks, and paralyzes you with overthinking. But when you step into action, you realize that most of what you were afraid of was just an illusion. The challenges you worried about turn out to be manageable. The obstacles you feared become stepping stones. The failures you dreaded become lessons that shape your success. Fear loses its power the moment you stop listening to it and start moving forward. Faith is not about ignoring reality. It's about seeing beyond it. It's about recognizing that your current circumstances do not define your future. It's about believing that even when things don't go as planned, you are still on the right path. Faith allows you to see opportunities where others see obstacles. It gives you the endurance to keep going when others give up. It turns setbacks into setups for something greater. There will always be moments of doubt. There will always be times when fear tries to creep in. But the question is, will you let fear control you, or will you choose faith? Will you let uncertainty keep you stuck, or will you trust that the path will reveal itself as you move forward? The choice you make in those moments determines the direction of your life. One of the biggest lies fear tells you is that you are not enough, that you are not smart enough, talented enough, experienced enough. But here's the truth. You have everything you need to take the next step. You don't need more validation or more qualifications or more permission. You are already equipped with the gifts, skills, and purpose that will lead you to success. The only thing missing is the decision to act. Fear wants you to believe that staying where you are is safer than stepping into the unknown. But the reality is, staying in the same place is the greatest risk of all. Growth only happens when you move. Opportunities only appear when you take action. Success only comes when you step out in faith. The greatest regrets in life are not the risks we took, but the opportunities we let pass by because we were too afraid to act. If you look at the most successful people in any field, you will see a common pattern. They didn't wait for certainty, they created it through action. They didn't wait for confidence, they built it through movement. They didn't let fear hold them back, they used faith to push forward. Every great achievement started with someone who was willing to move before they saw the whole picture. You don't have to know every step to start moving. You don't have to see the entire journey to take the first step. All you need is the courage to trust that as you walk in faith, the way will become clear. Every action you take in faith weakens the grip of fear. Every step forward builds momentum. The more you trust the process, the more confident you become in your ability to navigate uncertainty. Fear will always try to hold you back, but it only has power if you let it. The moment you decide to act despite fear is the moment you take control of your future. When you walk in faith instead of fear, you become unstoppable. You open the door to opportunities, growth, and success that would have never been possible if you had stayed stuck in hesitation. Fear is a barrier, but faith is the key that unlocks everything you are meant to be. Success is often measured by what we accumulate: money, status, power, material possessions. The world teaches us that the more we have, the more successful we are. But real success is not about what we take, it's about what we give. Those who live only for themselves may achieve temporary wealth or recognition, but true fulfillment comes from impact. The most successful people are not just those who gain the most, but those who serve the most. Serving others is the key to long-term prosperity, not just financially, but in every area of life. When you prioritize contribution over consumption, you activate a powerful law of success that multiplies everything you give. Many people operate with a scarcity mindset, believing that giving means losing. They think that if they give their time, their knowledge, their resources, or their energy, they will have less for themselves. But this is not how the world truly works. The more you give, the more you receive. The more you pour into others, the more doors open for you. The most prosperous people in any industry understand this principle. They provide massive value before they expect anything in return. They help others succeed, and in doing so, they create opportunities, relationships, and influence that bring success right back to them. Some people hesitate to serve because they believe they don't have enough to give. They wait until they are wealthy, successful, or established before they start contributing. But giving is not about how much you have, it's about your mindset. You don't need millions of dollars to be generous. You don't need a huge platform to make a difference. You can serve with what you have, where you are, right now. You have skills, knowledge, experience, and resources that someone else needs. Every person, no matter where they are in life, has something to offer. The key is to stop focusing on what you lack and start focusing on how you can add value to others. Serving others creates a ripple effect that expands far beyond what you can see. A simple act of kindness, a word of encouragement, a piece of advice, or a connection you make for someone else can change the entire trajectory of their life. And the energy you put into the world always finds its way back to you. People remember those who helped them. They remember those who went the extra mile, who gave without expecting, who genuinely cared. And when opportunities arise, they think of those who invested in them. The relationships you build through service become the foundation for future success. The most powerful leaders in history were not the ones who demanded the most, but the ones who served the most. Leadership is not about authority, it's about influence. And influence is earned through service. People follow those who inspire them, who empower them, who help them grow. If you want to rise in any field, focus on elevating others. When you make others better, you automatically rise with them. When you solve problems for others, you create value. When you put people first, success follows naturally. Serving is not just about what you do for others, it also transforms you. When you shift from a mindset of getting to a mindset of giving, you become more fulfilled, you experience a deeper sense of purpose. You become more grateful, more connected, and more motivated. Your work takes on a new level of meaning because it's no longer just about what you can achieve, but about the impact you can make. This shift changes how you approach everything. Business, relationships, personal growth. It makes you more resourceful, more creative, and more open to possibilities. Giving also creates abundance. When you help others succeed, you attract success. When you share your knowledge, you grow in wisdom. When you mentor others, you reinforce your own lessons. When you give generously, people want to support you in return. This is why some of the wealthiest people in the world are also the most philanthropic. They understand that giving is not a loss, it's an investment. It multiplies, expands, and creates new opportunities in ways that taking never could. Many people hold back from serving because they expect immediate rewards. They think, what's in it for me? But the true power of giving is that the rewards don't always come instantly, and they don't always come from the places you expect. Sometimes the benefits of serving don't show up until years later in ways you never anticipated. A person you helped years ago suddenly introduces you to a life-changing opportunity. A relationship you built through generosity opens a door you never saw coming. The seeds you plant today through service grow into a harvest that sustains you for a lifetime. Some people assume that serving means sacrificing success. They believe that if they focus on others, they won't have time to build their own dreams. But the opposite is true. When you serve, you expand your network, strengthen your influence, and position yourself as someone who adds value. The best businesses, the strongest brands, and the most influential people are those who focus on solving problems, meeting needs, and making a difference. Success follows those who serve. The people who struggle the most are often the ones who focus only on themselves. They operate from a mindset of scarcity, fearing that helping others will take away from their own success. But this approach limits them. It keeps them isolated, disconnected, and unfulfilled. They may achieve short-term gains, but they miss out on the deeper rewards that come from creating value for others. On the other hand, those who give freely build relationships that open doors, create goodwill that attracts opportunities, and develop a reputation that draws success toward them. Some of the greatest success stories in history come from people who built their legacy on service. They didn't just focus on making money. They focused on making an impact. And because they did, they achieved more wealth, influence, and fulfillment than they ever could have by focusing solely on themselves. The most successful entrepreneurs solve problems for millions of people. The most respected leaders empower those around them. The most beloved individuals give without expectation, and in doing so, they receive more than they ever imagined. The principle of serving first and prospering later is not just about business. It applies to every area of life. In relationships, the more you give love, support, and encouragement, the stronger your connections become. In personal growth, the more you teach and mentor others, the more you reinforce your own learning. In health and well-being, the more you contribute to the well-being of others, the more positive energy flows back into your own life. The act of giving is not a one-way street. It is a cycle that continuously brings back blessings, opportunities, and success. Most people underestimate the power of small acts of service. They think that making a difference requires grand gestures or massive resources, but true service is found in the little things. The way you treat people, the way you show up, the way you contribute even when no one is watching. A simple act of kindness, a piece of advice, a willingness to help can create a chain reaction that leads to incredible outcomes. When you make serving others a habit, you begin to see opportunities everywhere. You start to recognize ways to add value in every interaction. You become someone who people trust, respect, and want to be around. Giving is not just about charity. It's about contribution. It's about using your gifts, talents, and resources to make the world better. It's about shifting from a mindset of competition to a mindset of collaboration. It's about recognizing that success is not a limited resource. There is enough for everyone, and by helping others win, you win too. The most successful people understand that the secret to long-term success is not in taking, but in giving. They know that prosperity is the natural result of creating value for others. They know that service is the foundation of influence, impact, and lasting success. Most people go through life without a clear sense of direction. They wake up every day, go through their routines, handle their responsibilities, and react to whatever life throws at them. They operate in survival mode, moving from one task to the next without a deeper sense of purpose. But success is not random. It doesn't happen by accident. It is the result of clear intention, focused effort, and a strong connection to something greater than yourself. If you don't know where you're going, you will drift. And drifting leads to frustration, stagnation, and missed opportunities. The key to achieving anything significant in life is to align your goals with a purpose that is bigger than you. Purpose gives meaning to your actions. It fuels you when obstacles arise. It keeps you moving forward when things get difficult. Without a strong sense of purpose, even the most ambitious goals can feel empty. People chase wealth, status, and success, but when they achieve it without purpose, they still feel unfulfilled. That's because true success is not just about what you accomplish, it's about why you do it. It's about knowing that your work, your efforts, and your achievements contribute to something meaningful. The most successful people are not just focused on personal gain. They are driven by a mission, a vision, and a cause that extends beyond themselves. One of the biggest challenges people face is figuring out their purpose. Many believe that purpose is something they have to find, as if it is hidden somewhere, waiting to be discovered. But purpose is not something you find. It is something you create. It is something you choose. It is a combination of your gifts, your passions, your experiences, and your values. It is the unique way that you are meant to contribute to the world. It is the impact that only you can make. You don't have to wait for a lightning bolt of inspiration to strike. You simply have to start asking yourself the right questions. What are you passionate about? What are you naturally good at? What problems in the world do you care about solving? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? These questions help you uncover what truly drives you. Too many people spend their lives chasing things that don't actually matter to them. They pursue careers they don't enjoy, follow paths that others expect them to take, and make decisions based on fear instead of passion. They ignore the voice inside them that is calling them to something greater. When you don't listen to that voice, you end up living a life that feels unfulfilling, no matter how much success you achieve. Aligning your goals with a greater purpose shifts everything. It gives you clarity. It helps you make decisions faster because you have a guiding principle that directs your actions. It gives you the courage to take risks because you know you are working towards something meaningful. It helps you push through challenges because you are driven by something bigger than temporary comfort or convenience. When you have a strong purpose, you no longer need external motivation to keep going. You wake up every day with a sense of urgency and excitement because you know that what you are doing matters. Success without purpose is exhausting. It leads to burnout because you are constantly chasing external rewards that never truly satisfy you. But success with purpose is energizing. It makes you feel alive. It fills you with enthusiasm because every step forward feels meaningful. Purpose transforms hard work from a chore into a mission. It makes challenges feel like stepping stones instead of roadblocks. It turns obstacles into lessons that shape you instead of burdens that break you. Many people struggle with self-doubt when it comes to pursuing their purpose. They think, who am I to do this? They compare themselves to others who are more experienced, more accomplished, or more well-known. They let fear keep them from stepping into their calling. But the truth is, purpose is not about being the best. It's not about waiting until you have everything figured out. It's about showing up every day and making a difference in the way only you can. You don't have to be perfect to have a purpose. You just have to be willing to take action. Another mistake people make is thinking that their purpose has to be some grand, world-changing mission. They believe that if they're not starting a nonprofit, curing diseases, or leading a revolution, then their purpose doesn't matter. But purpose is not about scale. It's about impact. You don't have to change the whole world to live a life of purpose. You just have to change the world around you. A teacher who inspires their students is living with purpose. A business owner who provides jobs and supports their community is living with purpose. A parent who raises their children with love and wisdom is living with purpose. Purpose is not about what you do, it's about how and why you do it. When you align your goals with your purpose, success becomes inevitable. It may not come instantly, but every step you take will be moving you in the right direction. You will attract the right opportunities, the right people, and the right circumstances. You will develop a resilience that allows you to keep going when others give up. You will no longer feel like you're wandering through life without direction, because every action you take will be aligned with something meaningful. Living with purpose also changes how you handle failure. Instead of seeing failure as a sign to quit, you see it as a lesson that shapes you. You understand that setbacks are not the end of the road, they are part of the process. When you are driven by purpose, failure does not shake you, because you know that your mission is bigger than any single obstacle. You see challenges as opportunities to grow instead of reasons to give up. This mindset is what separates those who achieve great things from those who remain stuck. One of the biggest advantages of having a clear purpose is that it eliminates distractions. In today's world, there are endless things competing for your attention. Social media, entertainment, and other people's opinions can pull you in 100 different directions. Without a strong purpose, it's easy to get caught up in things that don't actually move you forward. But when you know your purpose, you have a filter for what deserves your time and energy. You stop saying yes to things that don't align with your mission. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You become laser focused on what truly counts. A strong purpose also makes you more influential. People are naturally drawn to those who are passionate about what they do. When you live with purpose, you inspire others to do the same. You become a leader, not because of a title, but because of the way you live. Your energy becomes contagious. Your commitment becomes a magnet that attracts opportunities, relationships, and success. People want to follow those who have a clear vision and a strong sense of direction. When you embody purpose, you become someone who others look to for guidance, motivation, and inspiration. Some people think they don't have time to pursue their purpose because they are too busy surviving. They are caught up in paying bills, handling responsibilities, and managing daily stress. But the reality is, not pursuing your purpose is what keeps you stuck in survival mode. When you live without purpose, life feels like a struggle. But when you align your actions with a deeper mission, you find new energy, new motivation, and new solutions that you never saw before. Purpose doesn't make life easier, but it makes it more meaningful. It gives you the strength to push through the struggles instead of being defeated by them. No matter where you are in life, it is never too late to align your goals with your purpose. You don't need anyone's permission to start living a life that matters. You don't have to wait until you have more money, more experience, or more confidence. You can start right now, where you are, with what you have. Every step you take in the direction of your purpose moves you closer to the life you were meant to live. Every action you take with intention creates momentum that leads to success. The only thing standing between you and a life of purpose is the decision to start. Faith and action must go hand in hand. Too many people rely solely on one or the other. Some people pray for success, but never take the necessary steps to make it happen. Others work tirelessly, but never seek guidance, never align themselves with a higher purpose, and never trust in something greater than themselves. Both approaches lead to frustration. Faith without action is wishful thinking. Action without faith is exhausting and directionless. The most successful people understand that they must combine both, having a deep belief in what is possible while also doing the hard work required to achieve it. Faith gives you the vision, the courage, and the resilience to move forward even when circumstances seem impossible. It allows you to step into opportunities that seem beyond your reach. It keeps you strong when you face setbacks. But faith alone is not enough. You must also act. You must move toward your goals with discipline, strategy, and persistence. Many people pray for success, but then sit back and wait for it to come to them. They hope for breakthroughs, but never step outside their comfort zones. They wish for better circumstances, but refuse to take responsibility for creating them. Faith is powerful, but it is not a substitute for action. It is a force that must fuel your efforts, not replace them. At the same time, action without faith is equally dangerous. Some people grind every day, pushing themselves to the limit, but they lack belief in something greater than themselves. They think everything depends on their own strength, and as a result, they carry the weight of the world on their shoulders. They experience constant stress, anxiety, and burnout. They may achieve external success, but inside, they feel empty. They are always chasing, never satisfied, always moving, but never feeling at peace. That is what happens when action is disconnected from faith. Faith brings peace, clarity, and a sense of purpose. It reminds you that you are not alone in your journey. It allows you to trust the process, to remain patient, and to keep going even when you don't immediately see results. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that faith means waiting. They believe that if they just pray hard enough, the right opportunity will fall into their lap. But faith is not passive. It is active. It requires movement. It requires stepping out even when you don't have all the answers. It requires putting in the effort, taking risks, and trusting that as you move forward, the right doors will open. Too many people sit on the sidelines, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for the right conditions, waiting until they feel completely ready. But the truth is, you will never feel 100% ready. You will never have all the answers in advance. You have to take the first step and trust that the rest of the path will be revealed as you go. Faith is about believing in what you cannot see, but action is about making it a reality. You have to work as if everything depends on you, while believing that everything depends on something greater than you. That balance creates unstoppable momentum. It removes fear, because you know that even if things don't go exactly as planned, you are being guided. It eliminates doubt, because you are not relying on your own strength alone. It gives you endurance, because you know that setbacks are temporary and that as long as you keep moving, you will reach your destination. Another reason people hesitate to take action is fear. They fear failure, rejection, judgment, and uncertainty. They let doubt hold them back. But true faith eliminates fear. It replaces doubt with confidence. It reminds you that you are capable, that you are being guided, that you have everything you need to succeed. The only way to overcome fear is to act despite it. The more you take action, the more your confidence grows. Every step forward strengthens your belief in what is possible. Every challenge you overcome reinforces your faith. Faith also teaches patience. In a world obsessed with instant results, many people give up too soon. They try something for a few weeks, don't see immediate success, and assume it's not working. But real success takes time. Seeds don't grow into trees overnight. Every step you take, every effort you make is planting something that will grow in its own time. This is why faith is so important. It keeps you committed, even when results are not yet visible. It allows you to trust the process, to keep showing up, to keep putting in the work, even when it feels like nothing is happening. At the same time, faith without action is an excuse. Some people use faith as a way to avoid responsibility. They tell themselves that if something is meant to happen, it will happen on its own. But that is not how life works. Faith requires you to move. If you want a better career, you have to develop new skills. Put yourself out there and take risks. If you want better relationships, you have to invest in people, communicate, and give before you expect to receive. If you want to build a business, you have to take bold steps, learn from failure, and continuously improve. Faith does not exempt you from effort. It empowers you to take bigger, bolder action. Some of the most successful people in the world are those who live by this principle. They are deeply committed to their beliefs, but they also work harder than anyone else. They don't just sit back and wait for things to happen. They create their own opportunities. They combine prayer with preparation, belief with boldness, and trust with tenacity. That combination is what leads to extraordinary success. Faith also changes how you handle setbacks. Without faith, failure feels final. It feels like proof that you are not good enough, not smart enough, or not capable. But with faith, failure becomes a lesson. It becomes a stepping stone instead of a roadblock. It becomes a necessary part of the journey instead of the end of the road. When you have faith, you understand that setbacks are temporary. They are just challenges meant to strengthen you, to teach you, and to prepare you for greater things. That mindset keeps you from quitting when things get tough. It allows you to push through obstacles with confidence, knowing that every struggle is making you stronger. Another critical aspect of faith-driven action is persistence. Most people give up too early. They start something, hit a challenge, and assume it wasn't meant to be. But anything worth achieving requires perseverance. Success does not come to those who quit at the first sign of difficulty. It comes to those who stay committed, who keep going even when progress is slow, who continue taking action even when they don't feel motivated. This is where faith plays a crucial role. Faith reminds you why you started. It gives you the inner strength to keep pushing forward. It helps you stay focused on the bigger picture instead of getting discouraged by temporary struggles. Another thing that stops people from taking action is waiting for everything to be perfect. They want to have all the answers before they start. They want to feel 100% ready before they take the first step. But perfectionism is just another form of fear. It keeps you stuck. It gives you an excuse to delay. The reality is you will never have all the answers before you begin. You will never feel completely ready. The only way to gain clarity is to take action. The only way to get better is to start. The only way to build confidence is through experience. Faith-driven action requires boldness. It requires making decisions with conviction, moving forward with confidence, and trusting that you are being led in the right direction. It means stepping out even when the path is unclear. It means believing that even when things don't go as planned, they are still working in your favor. It means refusing to let fear, doubt, or setbacks hold you back. When you live this way, combining faith with relentless action, you become unstoppable. You develop a level of resilience, focus, and determination that few people have. You stop making excuses. You stop waiting. You take control of your future, knowing that as long as you keep moving forward, success is inevitable.
Ladies and gentlemen, when life feels like it's piling on, when the storms are relentless and the challenges seem insurmountable, it's easy to let negativity take over. But what if I told you that staying positive in the face of adversity isn't just possible, it's a choice that can change everything. Imagine walking through life's toughest moments with strength, clarity, and resilience, refusing to let circumstances dictate your mood or your future. In this video, I'm going to share the exact strategies that successful people use to stay grounded and positive even when life gets hard. Because the truth is, how you respond to the tough times will determine whether you just survive or whether you thrive. Stick with me. This could be the turning point you've been waiting for. Let me share something important with you, something you already know deep down. Life is not always simple. Never promised to be. In fact, it promised nothing at all, and yet it offers everything. Both opportunities and challenges. Some days everything falls into place. The sun is shining, deals are closing, and the phone rings with good news. Other days it feels as if the world has slammed a closed for business sign right in front of you. That's life. What truly matters is not what happens to you, but how you respond to what happens. Anyone can smile when everything is going well, when the bank account is full and health is good. Anyone can celebrate when the crowd is cheering. But the real test of character is how you show up when the storm clouds gather. The real question isn't, will life get tough? The question is, when it does, will you still choose to remain strong? Will you choose to stay positive? Here's the truth. You can't control every event, but you can always control your attitude. You can develop a mindset so strong that even when the world seems to shake, you remain unshaken. Today, I want to provide you with practical tools, no fantasies, just real tools, to help you stay positive, focused, and powerful, even when life throws its worst your way. If you're ready to stop being tossed around by every difficult day, if you're ready to build an unshakable mindset, then pay attention, because what you hear today could change everything. Let's begin by understanding one key point. Tough times are part of the process. Let's make one thing clear right from the start. Tough times are not a mistake. They're not a glitch in the system. They are part of the deal we agreed to when we arrived on this planet. Someone once asked me, why is life so hard sometimes? I replied, that's simple. If life wasn't hard, we wouldn't grow, we wouldn't stretch or dig deep enough to discover who we really are. Life is designed to include difficulty, and that's not bad news, it's good news. It's a pivot. And even if you're not good, if difficulty is your default setting, life is designed to include difficulty. And that's not bad news, it's good news. Because inside every challenge lies an opportunity, a lesson, a gift, but you can only receive that gift if you stay in the game. Now, listen closely. The soil says, give me your seed, your effort, your patience, and I'll give you a harvest. Not instantly, not tomorrow, but eventually, if you stay committed to the process. Life is the same. It offers rewards, but it requires work, especially on the hard days, not just the easy ones. Tough times are not the enemy. They are the training ground. They refine you, prepare you, and reveal strengths you never knew existed. Without winter, there's no spring. Without pressure, there's no diamond. Now, you and I have a choice. We can curse the winters, or we can learn how to bundle up and keep moving forward. We can resent the difficulties, or we can let them shape something inside us that success alone could never teach. The real question isn't, will it get tough? The answer to that is already clear. Yes. The real question is, will I become tougher than the challenges I face? Let me give you a simple way to think about it. Don't wish for things to be easier. Wish for you to be better. Don't pray for fewer problems. Pray for more skills. Don't hope for no storms. Hope for stronger wings. And here's the miracle. As you grow stronger, the problems that once seemed overwhelming begin to shrink. They start to appear manageable, like stepping stones rather than obstacles. That's the deal. That's the agreement you and I have with life. It's not designed to make us comfortable. It's designed for our growth. So the next time life pushes, push back harder. When you feel stretched, stretch further. When the winds blow, use them to lift your wings. Remember, you don't build a great life by taking the easy path. You build a great life by walking the tough path with courage, wisdom, and a positive mindset. Today, decide this once and for all. Tough times are part of the process, and you are tougher than you think. Let's move on. Now that you understand that tough times are part of the deal, here's your next task. Protect the garden of your mind. Your mind is a garden, not a desert. It's not a machine. It's a living, breathing garden. And like any garden, if you don't tend to it, something will grow. But most of the time, it won't be good. If you plant seeds of good ideas, positive habits, and encouragement, you'll reap a good harvest. But if you're careless or lazy, weeds will grow. And be warned, weeds don't need watering. They don't need encouragement. They just appear on their own: negativity, doubt, fear, and pessimism. You don't have to ask for them. They show up on their own, on schedule, if you don't protect your mind. So the real question is, are you the gardener or are you the victim of the weeds? It all begins with what you allow into your thoughts. Input equals output. What you listen to, watch, read, and the people you associate with. All of these are seeds. Whether you realize it or not, they're planting something inside you every day. Now, you and I have a decision to make. Will we choose what gets planted, or will we let anything take root? Some people unknowingly spend hours planting negative seeds. They stay up late watching the news, filling their minds with tragedy and disaster. They gossip with complainers, listening to stories of failure and resentment. They let pessimists occupy space in their minds for free, and then wonder why their hope fades, their courage dries up, and their dreams seem buried under doubt. It's simple. The weeds have taken over. But here's the good news. You can take back control. You can pull the weeds and plant new seeds. You can become the master gardener of your mind. It starts with being intentional about what you feed your thoughts. Feed your mind with books that inspire you, not discourage you. Feed your mind with voices that lift you, not drag you down. Feed your mind with ideas that challenge you to grow, not excuses to stay small. And starve the weeds. Limit the noise. Walk away from gossip. You shut off the negativity. You tell yourself, not in my garden. Because if you don't guard the door of your mind, someone or something else will walk right in. Here's a rule to remember. Stand guard at the door of your mind, just like a security guard stands at the entrance of a bank. Inside are the valuables. And trust me, your mind, your ideas, your hope, your dreams, they're the most valuable assets you have. Treat them that way. So each morning, ask yourself, what am I allowing into my garden today? Is this thought a flower, or is it a weed? Is this voice building me up or tearing me down? Tough times will come, yes. But if your mind is strong, if your spirit is pure, and if your hope is alive, then you'll weather the storm better than most. Protect your mind as you would a treasure, because it truly is. It's the richest soil you'll ever work with, and the future harvest depends on how you tend to it today. Let's keep going. Now, let's talk about something that can change everything for you. Your personal philosophy. You see, life is built on principles. Business, relationships, finances, success, they all rely on a set of laws. The question is simple. Are you operating with a strong philosophy or a weak one? What is a philosophy? It's simply what you believe about how life works. It's the set of ideas you use to make decisions, the filter through which you run every opportunity, every challenge, and every setback. Your philosophy is your foundation. And here's the truth. If the foundation is weak, the building doesn't stand for long. If the philosophy is weak, neither will your success. Sadly, most people never take the time to build their own philosophy. They inherit bits and pieces from their parents, their friends, the news and gossip. They're living by default, not by design. And then when life gets tough, when the winds blow and the storms come, they wonder why everything falls apart. It's because they never built the foundation first. They never built a strong personal philosophy. But that's not going to be you. You're going to build something better. You're going to design a philosophy that supports you when life tries to knock you down. A philosophy that says, I am responsible, I can learn, I can grow, I can change. Failure is just feedback, not final. Discipline weighs ounces, but regret weighs tons. Opportunities are everywhere if I train my eyes to see them. Today matters. Small actions repeated daily create massive results. Here's the key. You don't build a strong philosophy overnight. It's not something you can buy off the shelf. You build it the same way you build anything valuable. Brick by brick, day by day, you read inspiring books, listen to wise mentors, reflect on your experiences, and upgrade your philosophy whenever you find a better way of thinking. You take what's useful, discard what's not, and continually refine, sharpen, and polish your beliefs until they're strong enough to carry you through anything. Once you build a strong philosophy, the game changes. You stop being tossed around by every setback, bad mood, or negative headline. You'll have an inner compass, a foundation that doesn't shake. When setbacks come, you'll say, I expected this, I'm ready for this. When opportunities arise, you'll say, I've been preparing for this, let's go. That's the power of a strong philosophy. So here's an assignment for you today. Sit down with a pen and paper and answer this question. What do I believe about success, about failure, about life itself? Write it down. And if you don't like the answers, then that's a good sign. It means you're ready to upgrade. You can rewrite your philosophy anytime you choose. Build it wisely, because everything else, your attitude, your results, your future, will stand or fall based on the foundation you create. Let's keep moving forward. Now, let's talk about mastering your self-talk. Here's a secret about success that many never learn. The most important conversation you'll have today is the one you have with yourself. It's not the conversation with your boss, your family, or anyone else. It's the conversation you have in the quiet moments when no one else is listening, the little voice in your head, your self-talk. And here's the big idea. You are always talking to yourself. The only question is, what are you saying? Most people let their self-talk run wild. They tell themselves things like, I can't do it. I always mess things up. I'm not good enough. They wonder why their life feels stuck. But understand this, your mind believes what you tell it most. Tell it you're a failure, and soon enough, you'll start behaving like one. Tell it you're capable, that you're growing and getting better every day, and your actions will rise to meet those words. You see, self-talk is a tool. You can use it to build yourself up, or you can use it to tear yourself down. The tool doesn't decide, you do. Let me give you a simple rule that changed my life. Never say anything to yourself you wouldn't want to become true, especially if you wouldn't say it to a child you love. Don't say it to yourself. Talk to yourself like you're someone worth coaching, someone worth encouraging, someone worth believing in, because you are. Here's the thing, positive self-talk isn't about lying to yourself. It's not about pretending problems don't exist. It's about reminding yourself that you're bigger than the problem. It's about saying, I may not have the answer yet, but I'm smart enough to find it. I may be struggling today, but I'm strong enough to overcome it. I may have failed, but I'm not finished. You become your own best coach instead of your worst critic. The mind is tricky. It remembers pain easily. It remembers failure quickly. You have to work harder to plant confidence. You have to work daily to cultivate belief. That's why self-talk isn't a one-time pep talk. It's a daily discipline. You build it like you build a muscle. Repetition, consistency, intention. So, here's your assignment. Starting today, catch yourself when that voice in your head turns negative and answer back. If it says you're not good enough, respond with, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm making progress. If it says you'll never succeed, answer with, watch me. Talk to yourself like it matters, because it does. Your future depends on the words you repeat to yourself today. Your strength depends on it. Your dreams depend on it. Master your self-talk and you'll master your future. Let's move on. Focus on what you can control. One of the greatest lessons you can learn in life is this. You can't control everything, but you can always control something. And that's enough to change everything. Too many people waste their energy, their best energy, worrying about things they have no control over. The economy, the weather, what other people think, what other people say, or what other people do. Now listen closely. Worrying about things beyond your control is like trying to sail a ship without touching the wheel. You drift, you stress, and you get nowhere. But when you focus on what's within your control, your attitude, your effort, your decisions, your character, you suddenly become powerful. You stop being a victim of circumstance and start becoming the creator of your own future. Here's the simple truth. Life becomes lighter the moment you stop carrying what isn't yours to carry. You can't control the traffic, but you can control your patience. You can't control the storm, but you can control how well you prepare. You can't control whether the market goes up or down, but you can control your skills, your service, and your value. Focus on what's in your hands, not what's outside your reach. Now you might say, but what about real problems? What about things that affect me directly? I understand, but the solution is the same. Do what you can where you are with what you have. If you can influence something, take action. If you can't influence it, release it. Control what you feed your mind. Control the words that come out of your mouth. Control the habits you build each day. Control how you treat others. Control how you show up when it's hard. Because here's what I promise you. If you master what's inside your control, the things outside your control lose their power over you. The world can be chaotic, but you can remain calm. The economy can be unstable, but you can be steady. The people around you may be negative, but you can choose to be positive. You can be a thermostat, not a thermometer. Thermometers just reflect the temperature. Thermostats set it. Be the one who sets the temperature of your own life. Here's your assignment for today. Take out a sheet of paper, draw a line down the middle. On the left side, write what I can't control. On the right side, write what I can control. And starting today, every time your mind drifts to the left side, gently but firmly bring it back to the right side. Train yourself to spend your energy only where it counts, because energy is precious, focus is priceless, and your future depends on where you aim it. Focus on what you can control and watch your life transform. Let's continue. Choose your associations wisely now. Here's a law of life that you can take to the bank. You will become like the people you spend the most time with. If you spend your days with negative, bitter, or angry people, you will find their attitudes starting to rub off on you. Their doubt will leak into your dreams. Their bitterness will cloud your optimism. Their fear will weigh down your ambition. Association is powerful, more powerful than most people realize. When I first heard this, it shook me awake. I realized that if I wanted to change my life, I had to start by changing my circle. Now, don't misunderstand me. This isn't about judging people harshly. It's about protecting your future. It's about guarding your potential. It's about being wise, not careless. See, some people are lifters. They lift your spirits. They elevate your thinking. They raise your standards. You leave their presence better than when you arrived. Others, unfortunately, are leaners. They lean on your energy, your optimism, your kindness until you have nothing left to give. And some are worse than leaners. They're drainers. They flow away from your life. And some are worse than leaners. They're drainers. They don't just lean, they pull. They pull you down with their excuses, complaints, and small thinking. Your future is far too valuable to leave it in the hands of drainers. So here's what you need to do. Evaluate your associations. Ask yourself, who is bringing out the best in me? Once you identify the people who are pushing you to think bigger, live better, and work harder, as well as those who are pulling you down, making you smaller, and feeding your doubts, you have three choices. Dissociate, limit, or expand. Disassociate means there are some people you need to lovingly release from your life. This isn't about bitterness or anger, but wisdom. Bless them and move on. Limit means there are people you may not be able to fully cut off, but you can limit their influence. You have control over the proximity and time spent with them. Expand means you actively seek out associations that lift you. Surround yourself with people who are wiser, stronger, kinder, and sharper. Learn from them. Let their fire light yours. Growth is contagious, as is decay. If you walk with wise people, you become wise. If you walk with complainers, you become cynical. If you walk with courageous people, you become bold. If you walk with fearful people, you become hesitant. Choose wisely because your future depends on it. Now, here's an action step for you. Take an honest inventory of your top 5 associations. Write them down and ask yourself, are these people helping me grow or holding me back? Then make the necessary changes. It may feel uncomfortable, but it's essential because your associations are either watering your dreams or drying them out. Choose wisely and you'll choose a stronger, brighter future. Moving forward, let's talk about strengthening your daily disciplines. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day, and failure is just a few small errors in judgment repeated over and over. The gap between success and failure isn't wide. It's formed by the small repeated decisions we make. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. However, discipline isn't always exciting. It's not glamorous, and it doesn't always feel good, but it works. When life gets tough, when challenges arise, it's your discipline that will become your anchor. Motivation fades, but discipline stays. Discipline shows up when you're tired, discouraged, and uncertain, making you do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. The key is that you don't have to be extreme, but you do need consistency. You don't have to run a marathon today, but you can lace up your shoes and go for a walk. You don't have to write a whole book today, but you can write 1 page. You don't have to master your craft overnight, but you can practice today. Small disciplines practiced consistently lead to massive results. And the beautiful thing is that discipline gets easier over time, like a muscle. It becomes stronger the more you use it. What once felt difficult will eventually feel easy, and what once seemed impossible will become inevitable. So, what are your daily disciplines right now? Are they helping you move toward the life you want, or are they quietly drifting you further away every day? In every way, you're either building your future or letting it slip away one undisciplined moment at a time. The price of discipline is always less than the price of regret. Your assignment is to choose 3 simple disciplines to commit to, no matter what. They don't have to be big. They just need to be consistent. Maybe it's 10 minutes of reading, 30 minutes of exercise, writing down your goals every morning, or speaking a word of encouragement to someone each day. Choose your 3 disciplines and start today. Feeding your spirit comes from practices that nourish your inner being, not just your intellect. Your spirit is the part of you that craves purpose, meaning, connection, and peace. It's the part of you that thrives on reflection, gratitude, compassion, and faith. Taking time for stillness, meditation, or prayer can ground you and help restore your sense of balance and peace. Giving your spirit the nourishment it needs is essential for maintaining your inner strength, especially during the challenges of life. Without feeding your spirit, even the most successful achievements can feel hollow, leaving you seeking fulfillment in all the wrong places. Your spirit thrives on positive, meaningful experiences and interactions, like being in nature, helping others, practicing kindness, and reflecting on what truly matters. It needs time for rest, time to connect with your higher purpose, and moments to recalibrate your mind and soul. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle, in the constant chase for more information, skills, and achievement. But if you neglect your spirit in the process, you risk feeling disconnected, even if you're ticking off all the boxes in your life. Nourishing your spirit means taking the time to pause, to reflect on your values, your purpose, and your deeper connection to the world around you. This doesn't just improve your well-being, it enhances your resilience. When your spirit is fed, you become more centered, more grounded, and better equipped to handle the stress and difficulties that life inevitably brings. So here's your action step. Think about what feeds your spirit. Is it spending time with loved ones, connecting with nature, or practicing mindfulness? Is it helping someone in need, or simply taking time to reflect on what you're grateful for? Whatever it is, make sure to incorporate it into your daily routine. Your spirit needs nourishment just as much as your mind and body. And when you feed it, you become stronger and more capable of facing whatever comes your way. Let's keep moving forward. And remember, it's not just about what you accomplish, but about who you become along the way. But when you keep your eye on the horizon, you remind yourself that this moment, however tough, is just a small part of a much larger story. It's like a sailor navigating through a storm. Though the waves are crashing all around, the horizon is still there, guiding them. In life, the horizon represents your bigger vision, your goals, your dream. It's the belief that despite the setbacks, the challenges, and the difficulties, something greater is on the other side, waiting for you. To keep your eye on the horizon, you must constantly remind yourself of the purpose behind your actions. What are you working towards? What do you want to create in your life? When you keep that vision alive, even the darkest moments don't feel like they're the end. They feel like a part of your journey, something to learn from and grow through. This is where faith comes in. Not just faith in your abilities, but faith in the process. Faith that the seed you're planting now will one day grow into something beautiful. Faith that even in the hardest moments, you're building something bigger than you can see at this very moment. It's that belief that no matter how long the winter feels, spring is always coming. So here's your next assignment. Spend some time today visualizing your horizon. What does your future look like when you've overcome today's challenges? What kind of life are you building for yourself, your loved ones, and the people you serve? Write it down, make it vivid, and when tough times come, and they will, remind yourself of that vision, let it fuel you, let it push you forward, and keep one eye on the horizon, no matter how rough the waters get. This is how you keep your spirit strong, how you keep your motivation alive, and how you keep moving forward with confidence and resilience. Life's toughest moments are often the ones that shape you into the person you need to be to fulfill your purpose. Keep your eyes on the horizon and remember, the journey is just as important as the destination. You've reached the end of this journey, but this is just the beginning of your next chapter. Remember this, the storms will come, and life will test you in ways you can't always predict. But no matter how intense the winds may blow, you are never powerless. The strength, the wisdom, and the resilience you need are already inside you, waiting to be activated. Every challenge you face is an opportunity for growth, for transformation, and for you to become the person you've always been capable of being. As you walk this path, keep your vision clear and your purpose anchored firmly in your heart. Remind yourself daily why you endure, why you stay positive, why you push forward. When you do, even the toughest of days will feel lighter because you'll be anchored to something far bigger than the momentary struggles. Let today be the day you take full ownership of your story, your life, your choices, your destiny. They are all in your hands. Every decision you make, every step you take shapes your future. So stand tall in the face of challenges, hold your head high, and keep your eyes on the horizon. The storm may come, but it doesn't get to define you. You do. You are the one writing your story. Your perseverance, your strength, and your unwavering commitment to your vision will carry you through. So go ahead, take what you've learned, apply it, and build a life that you can be proud of. Keep moving forward because the best is yet to come. Your journey is just beginning, and you were made for greatness. As we wrap up, remember this: life will always throw challenges your way, but it's your response that truly matters. Staying positive isn't about ignoring reality. It's about choosing to rise above it, to find strength in the struggle, and to keep pushing forward even when it feels impossible. The next time life tests you, ask yourself, how can I use this to grow? Because when you master the art of staying positive, you will unlock a power within yourself that nothing can take away. So take these strategies, make them your own, and watch how your perspective transforms. Life won't be any less challenging, but you will be more than ready. If you're ready to take control of your mindset and turn adversity into your greatest advantage, hit that play button. Your journey to staying positive starts